This morning, the Supreme Court took big action on abortion. Justices struck down Texas's controversial restrictions, declaring they pose an unconstitutional burden on women seeking to end their pregnancies. By a 5-3 vote, they said Texas lawmakers went too far by imposing unnecessary regulations that forced most of the state's abortion clinics to go out of business. Joining us now to share their thoughts on the issue is the Advocacy Director of Progress Texas, Lucy Stein, and GOP consultant Matt Makoviak. Thank you both for being here.
Sure.
All right, Lucy, talk about the provisions in the Texas law that caused concern for the majority of the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that today marks a really incredible victory for Texas women. The Supreme Court affirmed that every Texas woman deserves compassionate, respectful and dignified access to health care without needless barriers and without political interference. And in a very decisive decision, like you said, in a 5-3 decision, the Supreme Court struck down two provisions of a law that was passed by Texas lawmakers in 2013. They ruled that the ambulatory surgical center requirement and the admitting privileges requirement of that law not only imposed an undue burden on Texas women, but that they also had no basis in protecting women's health or safety, which are the sort of bogus excuses and justifications Texas Republicans have been using to pass their anti-abortion agenda in Texas.
Now, Matt, is there anything Texas can do to continue abortion restrictions, or does today's ruling clarify everything?
I think these two narrow provisions have now been ruled on, and so I don't think you'll see the state try to act on them. But look, we've passed a sonogram law, we've passed a parental notification law. You didn't see them challenge the 20-week late-term abortion ban that was also in the law. I think they were afraid they'd get ruled against on that, so they didn't challenge that. I presume Lucy supports and Progress Texas supports late-term abortion. Most Texans don't. But look, yeah, the legislature may look at other pro-life legislation in the next legislative session. Look, from my perspective, what I don't understand here is why women who claim to care about women's health would want abortion clinics not to have higher standards. An ambulatory surgical center is essentially a hospital. Why would you not want to receive this kind of care in a hospital compared to something that's not a hospital? Why would you want to have a doctor who doesn't have admitting privileges? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And so in this case, we saw Planned Parenthood threaten to close facilities because they didn't want to live within these new safety regulations that the state passed.
As part of the decision, the judge, Justice Breyer, explained that in the course of the case, Texas was given the opportunity to present even a single piece of evidence of how these restrictions improve the safety of abortion, which is already the most safe outpatient procedure out there, or do anything to protect women's health. And the state was unable to come up with a single example, not one, of why these restrictions do anything to improve health and safety. As a matter of fact, every major medical association in both Texas and nationally submitted briefs saying that these laws do the exact opposite of that. And I trust doctors over politicians. These doctors said that these laws do exactly the opposite by pushing abortion care out of reach, even for women that desperately need it.
Final question, because we are running out of time. Matt, how do you see this ruling playing out in the presidential election?
I think it underscores the stakes in the election in terms of the Supreme Court. You may see the issue of abortion become a bigger issue, but I'd have to respond in three ways, I think, to what Lucy said. First, I doubt anyone feels like they're getting the same level of care in a clinic that they do in a hospital. So I think that in and of itself is ridiculous. Two, if you think abortion clinics operate within all the safety regulations, I would urge anyone watching this to Google Kermit Gosnell.
The court also pointed out that case and said that there's no...
Who operated outside of the safety regulations for 15 years. Google Kermit Gosnell. It is absolutely horrific.
The court addressed that exact concern and said that Texas abortion clinics are already among the most regulated facilities and throughout the state under the law that existed prior to this law.
Okay, we are out of time. Lucy, Matt, thank you both for sharing your perspectives with us tonight.
Thank you.